What's the best way to avoid getting scammed?
I mean, yeah, it's tough.
How do you not get scammed in the NFT scene?
Realistically, somebody can't scam you just from you doing nothing. So you have to do something. Like there's some
I like that.
Like there's some kind of actions to take, right? So that's like signing like a transaction.
Hey, send me $5,000. I'll give you back 20,000.
The thing is,
why? Why would you do that?
So I don't. It is a joke, but it's like
it happens, bro.
No, but the thing is,
yeah,
like sometimes not their fault because the way it's associated, like they mask it. They're not asking for 5,000 straight up, right? So it's like that's the thing to be careful about. Where it's like there are gonna be times where these transactions are valid, right? Because it'll be very generic. It'll be like if you want to sell this on a marketplace, you have to give the marketplace permission to sell it. So if somebody was acting as a bad marketplace, you could also give them permission, thinking it was the correct marketplace. By signing it away, they had say you gave them permission to go and take it from you, right?
All right, guys, welcome back to Wealth is Possible. So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about NFTs. We actually have Josh over here, who's actually a business analyst who got into the NFT scene, and he's just been exploring since. So he's going to give us a lot of in-depth details about the NFT scene and what he's learned throughout his journey. So if you're into the NFT scene or you want to invest in NFTs eventually, I would watch this. Wagwan,
Let's
Josh.
go. Wagwan.
What are you saying?
Out here, you know what I mean? Good Saturday. Got some nice weather going on.
Yeah.
Can't complain whatsoever.
Daytime shoots are the best. We're all going to look like Shah Rukh Khan on this one, you know?
Team Light Skins, we out here.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so tell anyone, like, okay, let's start with crypto. Like, what got you into crypto?
So honestly, it just came down to being curious about this shit.
Yeah.
You know, March 2020, hearing about Dogecoin shit, that was all going off, and I'm like, bro, I've never heard of this shit ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was kind of GME time too, and it's like, yo, what is this?
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, yo, I don't gotta buy this. I can just explore.
Yeah.
So I mean, I go to YouTube, like I search for like every video possible, and there's some like really good YouTube like content creators putting a lot of videos out. And so just about
who are you watching? Who are you watching? Like some of the big names.
Yeah, I mean, it started off with like Elio Trades, JR, NY Crypto, right? Because they had really good information. There's a lot of other people too, but it starts off there, and then you just go through your own journey. You're like, okay, this is interesting, or the YouTube algorithm mentioned something, or let me try this out. You know what I mean? So just about like being curious and exploring, and like kind of just keep going down the rabbit hole, right?
Did you have like an investment background before you got into crypto? Or
no, like
you weren't even in stocks or anything?
No, so I, because I just finished school recently, right? And then, like I've heard about stocks and stuff, and I'm like, mutual funds are like, it's not the way to go. Like I read a lot of Warren Buffett before and seen a lot of quotes and stuff. I had an idea about stocks, but I never pulled the trigger, right? And then, but I understood a lot of fundamentally, but then I was just like, I think I was trying to read and understand it, but it's like, I just felt like I didn't have the advantage. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'd spend so much time, and there's a lot of things I don't know. So I was like, okay, I never went down that route. But then with like crypto, I guess it was different, even though I had no experience, and a lot of people rely on or a lot of stock people, finance people have gone into crypto, or it's like an easier transition, for example. It was just like, learning, just slowly, like not even thinking about the big picture, just being like, all right, what's one small thing I can learn today that is related to crypto, right? So it's like your market cap and all that stuff, right? What does this coin even do? Like, why is there value to it, right? So just trying to go down the rabbit hole and like ask myself these questions on a regular basis to figure out, okay, like what's the next thing I don't know, right?
Staying curious.
Yeah, like
it's good to be curious.
Yeah, like I guess like what's the worst thing that happens from being curious, right? It's like you learn.
Yeah.
So how long before you said off camera you bought Ethereum, right? So how long before you bought Ethereum?
Yeah,
when you started.
I mean, so like that's the thing is like some people got in early, like 20, like 2013, 15, 17, right? But like for me it was legit 2020. I was like, following some of these channels, I'm like, oh, they do these challenges where it's like 1K to 10K, for example. Yeah, and like that's good money, right? Like I can try this, right? But and like they were showing success doing it. But it was also a different time of the market. Yeah. So it was interesting because I didn't have that finance experience. I didn't know certain things to look at, so it was a little bit of just like blind faith, right?
Trial and error. And
trial and error, and just like.
Did you find any of your business analysts, like stuff that you learned in school, or like just like your experiences from work, kind of play a part in you picking good crypto projects?
So
you can say no.
No.
You can say no. Yeah.
No. The thing is, it did, but it's like I think everything we do in the past has some kind of exposure or like effect.
I feel like it helps with your research, no?
Yeah, like because legit, like so
you know
I
what to kind of look out for. Yeah,
I did like life sciences, right? And there was a lot of like research online. So then you get used to like searching for things, or like if you, because a lot of the times like the question you're asking is so hard to figure out, right? So it's like, okay, if I can't ask this question, what's associated with this, right? And trying to like put pieces together, right? So like doing a lot of that in school and whatever. Even though you don't need school to do that, but it's like, because I did that, so like
you kind of have like the fundamentals
intently
down, so
yeah. But so like I wouldn't say you don't need school for that. Like,
no, of course
it's not that. It's just like I did school so intently because I thought that was the right thing to do, and like it's good because that can still transfer, right?
Oh, exactly.
Right.
Nothing you learn ever goes to waste, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right? Yeah.
So like that helped me. I just become better with like navigating the space, and it's like, oh shit, this is like more intuitive than doing this, for example, right? Like a big thing I do is like just try to, how do I make my life like a little bit easier, right? You know what I mean? Like what's one small thing I can do, right? Like, so even like efficiency and everything, like can I click do it this way versus this extra step? How do I take out steps in my day, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, and I guess that's where like the business analyst a little bit came into it too, right? Because it's like, what's the overall process, what's not needed, what's needed, right? But at the same time, I wouldn't say I'm like so technical. That's a lot of the time I'm like going in like a little blind, not knowing what's going to happen. And that's kind of how I stumbled in the NFT space, is like got into crypto, started understanding Ethereum, different blockchains, right?
So explain Ethereum for anybody who doesn't know. What is Ethereum?
What is it?
What does it do?
So I mean, I'm definitely not going to do it justice. But
just your understanding.
Just from like the main value for me that comes with it is like, it's essentially just a like a ledger or a database that keeps track of transactions, right? But it's all done transparently, right? And in order to do that transparently, there has to be other aspects into play, right? Like there's decentralization, and that's where like you can get into it where like Ethereum gas fees come in, but I think that's probably going in a little too deep. Like you have to get to that point where you can understand it, but like I would say
a high level, just very high level.
It can be daunting, but like it's basically just a public blockchain. So you can see everything, right? And like the best example for me is like, so when I was looking at houses, for example, before in real estate, I'm like, yo, how much did this house sell for? I couldn't see any data. I would have to go to my realtor and figure it out. And like, it's not bad, but I don't want to annoy them, because I want, like, when I want to do something, I want a lot of examples. Or to
if
see
you ever
the,
want
see
anything, you
number.
let me know. I'll send it to you. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, okay, appreciate that. Now I know that, right? But it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, instead of me having to, like, even you asking that's sick, but it's like, you have to go out of your way to do this.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't, like...
so it's like public knowledge. It's public. You can see
it. You want to be able to just pull up the data yourself.
Exactly. Without having to ask anybody, right?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, is like, yo, this is... I can... Like, it's scary because you can get to, like, yo, I can see the amount you're holding your bank account, which is like, it can be a little... There's, like, that dark side of it.
Yeah.
But there's also the aspect where it's like, you can do so much. You can, and that's where you get into NFTs, where it's like digital ownership.
Yeah,
like I actually own this.
Yeah,
it's on the blockchain, and it's like you can't. The blockchain, the another aspect of it is immutable, so you can't change it. So once that transaction has been verified and in there, you can't be like, oh, let me Control Z undo, right? Like that's not possible. So then it gives you more trust, in a sense that, like, a lot of transactions you have to. There's some aspect of trust. Right, in a lot of transactions, when you do things, people, the blockchain, the way it's built, and like the main, like another, value prop is like it's trustless. Like you can see what's happening here, right? You can't change it. So it's like if you can't change it, people like literally fuck up. People lose hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars by sending money to the wrong address.
Yeah, human error.
Right, human error.
I actually know somebody that recently lost like a bunch of Ethereum. Yeah.
That's right. So and like that's the scary part of Web3 and trying to learn and understand too.
Yeah.
Where it's like you can't reverse transactions. Like right now, something happens, I send money to the wrong person in my bank account. I'll just be like, to the bank, can you try to reverse this? Or credit card, like you can cancel it or do some shit, right?
Exactly.
You have insurance. There's no insurance on the blockchain,
which is a good and bad thing.
It is good and bad. Right. So it has its pros and cons. But that's why, I think it's important to understand, like, how does it work, and, like, dig deeper into it. And it just comes back to, being that curious in that area.
How do you think crypto and NFTs are going to impact the future? What do you see the new crypto NFT future as?
I mean, so I have no idea what the future is going to be, because that shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on. right? There's like different aspects where like, virtual reality, metaverse will become, into it.
My brother just bought the what is it, Oculus, Oculus,
Quest,
the Quest 2, the new one,
yeah, the VR
Your
goggles,
brother
right?
bought it, eh?
He bought it, he has it, so I might check you out on the metaverse stuff.
So see, like, I'm not that deep into that area,
yeah,
but like there's developments happening there. You know what I mean? There's like gaming is changing where like people, there's a new kind of crypto gaming called like play to earn,
right?
And it's like, you can make money playing this game.
You know what's crazy? Growing up, when I used to play video games, like I used to always think, I'm like, imagine I actually made money from like doing these race. Like I used to play a lot of racing games. So I used to be like, imagine I actually won this money in real life. But play to earn is a sick concept, bro, because it's like you can actually bet your own earnings and stuff, and it's an actual competitive nature and stuff too. And like nobody dies and shit.
Yeah. And it's like, and that's where even like NFTs come into play for a lot of gaming, because like people say, digital ownership, what does it mean? It's just like, if you had a sick car or a sick skin, a sick paint, you know what I mean? Like you could trade that to somebody else, or it could be yours. When you left that game, you didn't have that anymore. Now, because you own it, you can bring it to different games, right?
You know what? Like I feel like a lot of the older generations, and our generation including, like they can't grasp the idea of like, why would I buy this online? But I think like the future of NFTs or the future of crypto, how it's going to be, like especially in the metaverse, like you guys literally have like sensation clothes that you can wear that you can actually feel things. So imagine like owning things in like the metaverse, and like I feel like a lot of people are going to be hanging out in the metaverse and stuff anyway, so like that's going to be a whole different life. So like these skins are actually going to be of value in that world,
100%, right? But I think virtual reality is going to be a big thing, but I also think mixed reality,
with the goggles, the glasses and shit, right?
Or like whatever. I think augmented reality, right?
Augmented,
because like, and the crazy part is like Apple is doing a lot with that. Meta's a lot with virtual reality, and Apple is doing a lot of augmented reality, and it's like Apple's always ahead of its time, right? Like, bro, everybody has an every majority of people have iPhones, and it's like, why? They're just so good at what they do, and you kind of, and you got a glimpse of it with Pokemon Go, like, bro, how many people fucking, bro, I see stop on the side of the road, like it's crazy, right? And so it's cool because like you can, it's like crypto and NFTs, like it's in a sense it's not new. It's just the way they're doing it is like, in a sense, like new on the blockchain, right? But it gives you a lot more ownership, right? Like
I think a lot of the projects and stuff, and like a lot of the hype that's happening in it is it's the newer aspect of it, right? I know the projects have been there for a while, but I feel like ever since like the whole craze happened, I feel like it opened a lot more doors for more people to invest in there. What do you think?
I think like a lot more effort is definitely going into there, and like some of it's gonna be bullshit, some of it's gonna be legit. But at the end of the day, it's just like people, myself included, see potential in this, and it's like if you can, like the more time you have in this space doing things, the more it'll pay off, right? So it's like some projects are, they're setting up for the future, right? People believe this is the way it's going to be, and it's like if you get in early, you have, sometimes the early movers advantage. So
somebody who's new into NFTs and crypto, how would you recommend them to get into there and get involved? Like, how can you get involved with that? Somebody doesn't have a lot of money. How can somebody get involved and like be recognized in the scene? Can you share some of the things that you've been doing? Yeah, so I mean, I think the biggest thing just comes down to like learning first. So there's like, depending what you like, I'm a big YouTube person, but a lot of the NFT scene happens on Twitter and Discord, right? And like you don't, the beauty of it is you don't even have to, and you don't like, you shouldn't spend a lot of money, especially money you can't afford to lose. It should just be learning, right? And a lot of the acts, like the knowledge is free, right? And that's why you go into Discord, you see what's up. Like I never used Discord until the last few years, and it's like that's where all the secrets are.
It's a different platform, right? You got to understand like what it has a purpose, and like what are people talking about in this Discord? Why are people excited about this project? Like, so you analyze the Discord too, in a sense, but it's also just like it's also just like you're having like, you know what I mean? Like say you go to like different, when you have friends groups or different parties, you know what I mean? Everyone's a different vibe, so what is your vibe kind of thing, right? Like
why don't we explain what a Discord is for anybody who's like, what is a Discord? What is a Discord? Listening to this, because like obviously I've been in a Discord, so I know what it is. Like I don't know if you've been in, I haven't been in a Discord, but I've been around the block a few times, so I know what a Discord is, right? But it's the same thing. Explain like what the, I guess like for someone listening just on audio, what is it? What is a Discord? Yeah, it's an app. It's an app, and it's a chat basically, right? But it's like anybody, or for the most part, anybody can join. Yeah, it's kind of like a thread, no? Not really.
No,
because it's like you get an invite, and it's like a big chat room.
Okay. Yeah, it's a big chat room where everybody can talk. You know what I mean? So it's just like people are saying, whatever. Like it kind of starts off like there's a big thing in NFTs with like GM, right? It's like good morning, but it's just like it's a daily thing, but it's just like I don't know. It's in a sense,
and there's like different rooms, right?
Yeah, so like every project, it kind of that's the thing is it curates your experience, right? Yeah. Like you can say a lot of people spend time in the general chat, and you can you talk about whatever you want, right? But then say you want to talk about sports, there might be a sports section to be like, oh, did you guys see LeBron James playing yesterday, whatever the case is, right?
And there's like moderators that
and there's people that help like moderate the chat in the sense like you don't want any bullying or any kind of anything going on, but it's also people that are interested in conversations and like trying to help you or point you in the right direction and stuff, or just like guide your experience in this, right? But I guess like to even step back, like while you join a Discord, right, like you need to be interested in something, like there's a lot of projects out there and you can find your interests and like maybe start there with the Discord, right? So if you like sports, there's sports groups, and this doesn't even have to be like NFTs. It can be in general, right? It's I think it ultimately comes down to like community and finding people you can vibe with, and like
which is something that's been happening forever.
Yeah.
Now we just have a new platform for it.
Exactly, right? And like I would say Discord's been around for a while, but now people are just understanding that more, right?
Yeah.
So it's a different form of like media where it's like an ongoing chat, and you obviously don't have to participate the whole time, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like whenever you're in there.
It's not like class.
Yeah, it's not like class, right? It's like whenever you want to just say
you
what's up.
Participate at your own will,
and
it's on your phone, right? You could be on your computer too,
but
it's on your phone. You could
probably like go through it and stuff after, no? Or is it?
I don't know about recording. I don't know if you can record it.
No, like it's a chat, right? So you see all the messages.
Yeah, you can go back. It's like it's a WhatsApp. It's like a WhatsApp chat, bro.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? Yeah. So it just there's just like it's a big chat room, but it's like why join is to find some kind of interest or something you share an interest with, right? And like that's the thing with NFTs where it's like you can Discord gets like crazier where it's like you might be like, why do I care about this chat, right? Then this, for example with NFTs you could have like gated chats, right, where it's like if you own the NFT you can get access to the Discord, and people are like, yo, why do I care about this Discord, this like exclusive Discord? What are people talking about that's so whatever interesting, and it's like it could be more people that vibe with that community because they're actually willing to put some money associated with the project, right?
Because not everybody in the Discord actually owns the NFT the project, right? They're just there to learn or whatever, like get information, stuff like that. But then there's like a specific, I guess, corner of the Discord where you have to verify that you own that, you hold that NFT, and then only those people are in that room. Yeah,
like the Bored Ape Yacht Club and stuff.
So like I would like I'm sure there's a bunch of like a lot of holders channels and exclusive channels for Bored Apes, right?
Yeah.
But you also have to.
There's a general one too where everybody's there.
Yeah. You have to be careful. Like you don't want to just like sorry. What I meant to say is just like
is there scams? Like
in
terms of
scams. That's what I was trying to go to, but I didn't know how to link it. But like just in general, like what we were saying earlier, you can't reverse things.
Yeah.
If you get scammed, you can lose everything, right? So that's just one thing to keep watch. Like
how do you avoid? What's the best way to avoid getting scammed?
I mean, it's tough.
How do you not get scammed in the NFT scene?
So I mean, I feel like
there's no like one answer. What do you do? Like what do you do to kind of verify?
I think the biggest thing is like it comes back to how much like do you understand what's going on, and realistically somebody can't scam you just from you doing nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to do something. Like there's some like there's some kind of actions to take, right? So that's like signing like a transaction.
Hey, send me $5,000. I'll give you back 20,000.
The thing is,
why? Why would you do that?
So it is a joke, but it's like
it happens, bro.
No, but the thing is, like sometimes not their fault because the way it's associated, like they mask it. They're not asking for 5,000 straight up, right? So it's like that's the thing to be careful about. Where it's like there are gonna be times where these transactions are valid, right? Because it'll be very generic. It'll be like, if you want to sell this on a marketplace, you have to give the marketplace permission to sell it, right? So if somebody was acting as a bad marketplace, you could also give them permission, thinking it was a correct marketplace, and then by signing it away, they had to say you gave them permission to go and take it from you, right? So it's about, but it comes down to education And like the biggest thing is you can't click bad links. There's a lot of scam links. If you click it,
but they have access to your wallet and stuff, or no?
It's not they have access. They don't have access right away. You have to sign something, right?
Yeah.
But because you think it's the actual link, then you're willing to give that up. And the scary part about this is like, people can make money. Like there's a lot of people.
It's mostly like the new people that just join are the ones that are most vulnerable, right?
Yeah. Because there's not like, sometimes people just don't have the education or background, or like even like the information there, it's still, sparse relative to like how big the space is and what can happen, right? So it's constantly learning, right? And that's the sick thing, is like you could learn every day about something security related or just anything in general.
So what other spots would you like if this just say that you come across like a project that you want to do more research on, instead of going into that project's Discord, what are some other avenues that you can kind of go to learn more about those projects? Would you go on the project's website? Like,
I feel like the Discord is like the number one.
So it is, but like at the same time you can't, like, if there's no some projects don't have a Discord, or let's say
Twitter. Yeah,
so it's more or less Twitter. A lot. Visit the website for sure. But like one thing I've done is like even in Twitter searching for the projects, right? Because if all the chatter's happening on Twitter, it's like they have their own Google search bar in there almost, in a sense, right? So looking at what sentiment is, and like that's even a good way to get news, is like you kind of hear something and you're like, I have no idea what's going on, right? So I'm sure, like, I don't know, like there's a lot of shit in crypto happening right now with like Celsius and like right, so a lot of bankruptcies. So even if you just type in like Celsius, Terra Luna, if you type that into Twitter, you'll have a bunch of threads, people talking about it, saying what is this shit,
crypto's
right?
a scam.
Yeah. So and you know what I mean, so there's different ways you can get the information, but it's like, for me, I'll go through like Twitter threads, websites, talk to people. So even if I don't go to that Discord necessarily, I'll check the Discords I'm really active in. Is anybody else looking at this project? Right? Has anybody heard anything about this? Right? So it's like asking people I've kind of built a relationship with, right? And that's where it comes down to like find that community and place you want to be at, right?
Is it a bad sign if a project doesn't have a website and they just have a Twitter page, and like if they have like a link and that link is like doesn't work?
Is that like Eric Hanna's website, right?
Have you ever come across that, like, on a project, or like
I think it would be shady if the link doesn't work. It would be like, what are you like? Why
they have a lot of following, but the link on their website doesn't work.
Why, have you come across anything like that?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
Yeah.
So if the link doesn't work,
it's a Solana project. A bunch of them, but they're probably like brand new and stuff, right?
Yeah, right. So the thing is, like, if the link, if it says like coming soon, for example, then okay, whatever, it is what it is. They're like building, so I don't judge that too much. If it says coming, like they're coming soon, the mint is like a few days after, then maybe it's a little question marks. But yeah, like I generally, like, the thing is, you can lose a lot of money in this space, and like by trying to trade, and so I've kind of shifted away from that, because you see like the greed that people have, right? And like so like like there's definitely signs of, like, it's easier now to identify good projects being in this space for like a year and a half. And so, by no means is it like an expert, but it's, you can just pick up a lot of things in that time.
So you talk about like the projects that you put money into and why. Like from the the first one.
So like, financial advice.
I mean, there's always a lot, right? I think even there's good projects and bad projects I put into, and it worked out. Didn't work out. Like a lot of the time it doesn't work out, right? Like the sick thing, and I'll get to like your question in a second, but like with NFTs, the sick thing is like, it's like venture. So like
it's like venture capital.
It's like venture capital, but it's crazy because you have the ability to sell it at any time. Venture capital is usually locked up for a few years.
No contract.
And then obviously if it works out, you have a lot of upside, and if it doesn't work out, there's downside, right? But now it's like with NFTs, you can buy them, sell them at any time, 24 hours, right?
What is venture capital for the people in the back?
Thing is, I wouldn't even say I know that answer, but I just hear it, and it's a lot of like those seed, it's getting it early, it's like getting in seed round, stuff like that, right? So and I just know you have to be like, you have to have certain credentials, right?
Be accredited investor.
Accredited investor. So
it's like basically you're funding a company that like needs to grow, like has a great idea, like Uber, for example. Right? There's venture capital that put money into Uber, in the early days before you even knew existed, like 10 years before you knew it existed, but they're just building their foundation and they're building, but they need money to grow. They need to hire employees, whatever. And they take equity in the business before it even goes public, like way before. So they own a portion.
It's like the example like Gary Vee gives for like the music industry. Like just say, for example, like he's like an underground artist that you really fuck with, and the artist is making like an album. You can actually buy the album as an NFT and you can invest into the album. So the creator, so the artist has money to like, build a label and all that shit. And then when the album starts selling, you get a portion of the sales,
the royalties. Yeah. So like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, an aspect of like NFTs that's really sick and different than kind of current businesses is like there's
royalties.
Pictures, but it's also royalties, right? And it's like that's on the blockchain in the contract where it's like,
I think that's the sickest part.
Yeah, like every sale that happens, you get a portion of it. So if your royalties is 5%, really cool, you know what I mean? Every sale after you've already released that project, you get money, right? So as a creator, creators don't necessarily need incentive to keep doing what they do, but like it helps in a sense where it's like, people are valuing this work. If I keep doing more, this should, in turn become more valuable, right? So that's like a whole other aspect of, creation and like, the cool aspect of royalties that, businesses, for example, I think nowadays they take probably more on margins because that's how they do it. And like every business, probably will transform into NFTs in some way or another. But it's like, right now they got a lot of the capital up front.
Still super early.
I mean, it's different. Yeah. Like a lot of like, even it's still super early for Web3 and NFTs where it's like a lot of projects and companies aren't necessarily delivering and doing what they can. And then circling back to your question on what projects I'm invested in.
Yeah. Actually, before you do that, I want to talk about how like Gary Vee actually spoke at like this Toys R Us Summit or something recently. I don't know if you saw the video. He was talking about like just the royalty part of the NFTs. He was talking about how he went to a garage sale. Like he's a sick example, right? He went to a garage sale. He bought, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Thundercats. It's like some toy from like old school toy.
I've heard him mention.
Yeah. He's
sounds very familiar.
Apparently, like if you find one sealed, it's like $400 or something like that. Way. So and like these are toys that they probably got for like $5 back in the day, right? Yeah. So he's like, if he finds one sealed and he sells that on eBay, he gets all the margin. eBay gets the margin. FedEx gets the margin because he has to ship it, right? But Thundercats, the people who actually made that, make zero. Yeah. Because it's just a one-time sale and it's done. Sale, versus with NFTs, you get that forever.
Yeah.
It's like generational. That's a great way to put it,
Yeah, like at the end of the day, it's almost like like if you can bet on yourself and make your own project, it's like passive income. Right? Because you're constantly getting that. Yeah. But at the same time, it's not easy, right? Like you have to put in a lot of work to make it a successful project. Yeah. Right? And that's why even like Gary Vee, I invested in his Vee Friends. Yeah. When it came out, and like I was just fortunate and like at the same time just curious to say, what is this? Yeah. Ultimately, so the main, a lot's happened since it first started. Yeah. But initially it was all.
So you've been following Gary for like years, I'm assuming, right? Like kind of when we were like, was it before COVID and all that?
Yeah, like 5 to 7 years at least. 5 to 7 years. At least been following it, right? But I wouldn't say I've listened to every video. I'm not.
Was Gary Vee the main gateway to NFTs or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, he started talking about NFTs and like, he started like March 2020. Or sorry, not March. I don't know. He started maybe like November, near the November, December. Started talking
2021,
and then early 2021 he started talking about it. Right, early crypto. First talking about Ethereum.
2019. You meant
November. So like maybe he was talking back then. I didn't kind of see those clips, but in 2021, early on, he made a big focus talk about Ethereum. Talk about
he's
NFTs,
like researching
right?
NFTs.
He's like researcher, right? So I always keep hearing him say this. So I'm like, let me like Gary. For the most part, he has a lot of right calls. And I'm not saying like whatever he says.
He calls TikTok, bro. He's like make content on TikTok before
Uber,
it blew up.
Yeah.
No, Uber he didn't invest.
Oh, he didn't invest in it. Okay.
But he invested in like Facebook and Twitter.
But what's crazy? His brother AJ Vaynerchuk invested in Uber.
Really? No way.
Yeah.
No way.
So
Vaynerchuk's on one, eh?
Yeah. So I was telling Vint about another project, which will VaynerSports Pass. Yeah. That's run by AJ Vaynerchuk, and that's one I'm pretty invested in. Yeah. But like invest in the sense from like even. Like I believe what they're doing. So essentially, the main thing is like they've put out an NFT. So they have a sports agency, VaynerSports, where they have like hundreds of clients as athletes, right? And what they're doing now is they're doing raffles for tickets to games, to actual in real life games, right? And so each NFT has different icons on it, right? So it's like 10 icons, but it's like football, basketball, baseball, other sports. So
how much is one?
So right now it's pretty. So the thing is, it's pretty accessible, like 0.2 Ethereum,
yeah,
which is like maybe like 500 USD or so.
Yeah.
But it's like you know, the way it works is like if it's a basketball game, only people with the basketball icons can apply to the raffle, right? And then there's raffle. It's a raffle.
How are the seats though? Are they like
really? No, they're 6 seats.
They're crazy seats.
Like $4,000
seats or some shit.
Yo, so you know, there's a UFC event.
Yeah.
Okay, and you got 100, like section 100.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, not that, like, it's still really close, not like upper bowl.
Okay. Yeah.
In a sense, like it's a pretty good view. So like, you get tickets to the game, and they're pretty good seats. They're not nosebleed seats.
Yeah,
Sometimes you get suites.
Yeah.
Right. So like, there's a Blue Jays game coming up.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
And people holding the project, the baseball icon, they enter the raffle. They're winning tickets.
Yeah.
Some of them are to general admission, some are to the suite. Right. And so it's like, by you holding this NFT, you get actual utility.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not, well, you pay for the NFT, but
but like
one time
residually, it's free. That's it. You're not like buying it over and over. You're just holding it because you believe in the project, right? Like every project, but then the value that it's providing is crazy because you could potentially win the raffle multiple times, right?
Exactly. How much is the NFT?
Or 500 USD ish
right now, eh?
Yeah. Okay. But the thing is, like, you have to be so there's a lot of odd things, like you have to be active to participate weekly in the giveaways, right? So it's like this week's like baseball, next week gaming, basketball the week after, right? Football's coming around the corner. And then it's also like they're giving away maybe 10 tickets to each game, right? Throughout the whole season, right? So the chance of you winning there's 15,000 NFTs, right? The chance of you winning it's not bad, right?
1 to 15,000.
No. So it's not, because it's only icon specific. Right? So say you have...
How many are there?
15,555.
There's a total
supply.
Yeah.
That's currently, there's plans to like do some things with it.
Yeah.
But like that's the current situation with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, so there's certain icons, right? So it's not, your odds aren't 1 out of 15,555.
Yeah.
But they're not as good. But at the same time, it's like, say you really like basketball.
Yeah.
You could find one with 2 basketballs or 3 or 4, and that increases your odds, exponentially.
Yeah. What else? Is there any other use case for it other than that?
There's
in the future they probably
have. So even right now, what they're doing is every month they have this, like, it's called a partner mint.
Yeah.
And they're just working with other NFT projects and creating like a child project.
Okay.
Right. So now you get, for holding that, you have a chance to win the tickets, but also every month you're guaranteed, partner mints. So other NFTs.
Okay. And I feel like a lot of projects do that kind of stuff, right?
It's true, right? So like now I guess is really the time where they have to see, how do I bring value to it? Because like at the end of the day, it's always about value, right? And like,
otherwise people would just sell and get out, right? If they have no reason to hold, right?
Exactly, right? Because like, what are you doing for them in a sense?
Yeah.
Right? And it's not like, and there's different things you could do, right? But like this one is one of them. For Vee Friends, the reason I got into it was literally, I was like, I believe in Gary, and I'm like, it gives you 3 years to a conference. Is around like 2 to 3, like 3,000 Canadian at the time.
Yeah.
And I was
how much would a conference ticket even
go
for?
So that I was basically checking out previous conference tickets, and they were like $800-900.
Yeah.
So I was like,
it's already up.
So I was like, it's like a kind of break even, like maybe there's your
worst case scenario, you already, like, the conference alone pays for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, like no, the thing is, what happened is he literally said, like, he was talking about it on his podcast, before, or like as it was minting, even before, because he had the delay, and he was saying, I'm going to throw this best conference the first year, then you can sell it the second year if you want to, recuperate your costs back, right? And you could have had that experience in the for free. You know what I mean? Like my NFT from where I bought it because I got in early is higher.
You got it at 0.5?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, bro. Like I had no idea what NFTs were.
But I was floor is 8. I feel like it was 20 at a point.
Yeah,
right?
like it got really high in terms of like even US price when Ethereum was up there.
Yeah.
But it's like, I got that conference experience for free.
Yeah.
And now I still have this NFT that's valued. And not everybody can do that. But it's like, he's providing that, that value and utility for this, right? And then he's doing even more with the characters. Yeah. He's like, he wants to build out Disney, but he knows that's going to be like a 50-year project,
Explain what Vee Friends is, though, like the actual, like the different things, like, I don't know.
Yeah, what is the characters? So Vee Friends is an NFT. I think it's like 10,555 supply.
Yeah.
Or
he had 2 different releases or something, right?
So he has different series, but just focus. The first one is like, you get access to the conference, right? So he started that in like I think May of 2021.
Yeah.
Right, and that was the primary thing. And then you have like common ones, kind of like sports cards. You have common ones, you have more rare, you have shinies, for example. So
which one do you hold? And like,
so I hold like a base one, like a common one. Yeah.
So what is the shine? What are the other tiers?
So it's like base. There's like rare. Then they have like spectaculars. Yeah. Which is like different backgrounds.
Do you get to like meet Gary Vee one-on-one or something? So
there's a lot of different ones, right? Yeah. So the main ones are conferences, but then they have other special ones where it's like you could have someone's like Hangout Hawk.
Hangout Hawk.
Right? And it's like
the names are jokes.
No, the names are hilarious, right? And it's like you can I think that's like FaceTime. You can FaceTime Gary for 5 to 15 minutes. I forget how much.
That's cool.
3 times a year.
You know what I mean? Crazy. That's pretty crazy.
And like, Gary, like, I think people were saying like, if you look at his rates for people, like when he books people in and he goes in, like, it's just like a shit ton. You know, so it's like there's value you can get out of it.
It's crazy incentive,
right? And then there's like a bunch of other ones. You can play bowling with him. You can watch a Knicks courtside with him, right? Obviously, those ones are expensive and those are more limited. Like you can't make 10,000 of those.
Yeah.
But he's also so he's showing utility in different ways. One is a conference. One is giving his own time up. And even at the conference, he literally had like selfie stations, multiple days, 3 days. His conference like 3 days long, 3-4 days long. Every day he had at least 2 to 3 hours booked off for selfies. He was signing stuff, doing selfies, and it's like it's a grind, like to do that shit 3-4 days, like you know what I mean?
Especially someone like him with all the things that he has to do.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's crazy, like that. Like it ultimately comes down to like, you know, what you believe in and who you are as a person.
Yeah. How was it meeting him?
So it was, like a short thing, but like it was sick, right? Just
even did you get to talk to him and stuff, or like
so like the last day, because they want to take as many people as possible. It was more just kind of a selfie, and then but it was cool. Like we even had like a brief interaction, and it's like I was rocking the Toronto over everything, or I was rocking Toronto shirt, over everybody. And then Gary's like, "Oh, nice! I like the sweater." And then it's like, it's just like these small things, that I guess make it cooler. Where it's also like, he's a big Jets fan. I was wearing green sweater.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I mean, I think it's a lot of like, he just provides so much value. So to like meet him and it was like me thanking him, like I appreciate everything you've done, and like it's changed a lot, right? Just the like being in the space. There's so much like it's like I genuinely I'm like passionate, like I actually care about the space. I think it's gonna go somewhere.
Yeah. And it's like so early. We're in the first inning. Yeah,
like, and it could flop, right? Like,
I don't think Vee Friends are gonna flop.
No, but like I'm just saying the whole industry could, like, you know what I mean? There's always cases where it's like, you can never, anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
Mainly regulation,
but just the regulation, but like just the royalty aspect alone, I feel like capitalism. Just because of capitalism, it's not gonna flop because of the whole utility.
No, but I'm saying like imagine like if Ethereum doesn't work out as a blockchain, and there's another blockchain that kind of competes, then like there can be aspects, but like there's also a lot of smart people and you can do different things. So like I obviously don't think it's gonna flop, but there's always like that 0.0001% chance that it might. But like it's always like it's just like me going for it right now, right? So we're in the first inning, and that's why it's like it's so small. It's like only like millions of people now, which may sound like a lot, but there's like billions in the world. Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like you look at and
a lot of people probably dropped out after the crash and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
A lot of people are
like
just
a lot of people like in their mouths, like they literally think that like crypto was a scam because of the natural market.
Because the market is the market for stocks, for real estate, for crypto, for NFTs. It's the same thing. You know what I mean?
But
it's everyone.
Crypto's a scam.
People, right?
No, but it's crazy, right? Like people, they have, and like you obviously gotta do better in the space, but like you have one bad incident and you're like, oh, it's a scam, I lost all my money, or you get scammed by signing away your crypto.
But the people who are doing that right now are like the old people that like tried to use the internet like once before and they're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore,
No, it's not an easy thing to do, but like if you stay at it, like there's a lot of value that it provides.
It's worth your time because that's going to be the future. Like, a lot of like even like in the real estate industry, like they're gonna be using like smart contracts and stuff for like to like moving forward. They're gonna start using smart contracts and stuff. So it's like it's a real life application. It's not just like in the metaverse.
Yeah, there's a lot of real life applications that can happen with it, and that will. It'll take time, but the use cases for it are just unbelievable, and it's like from both sides. Because like right now, there's a lot of middlemen that do things for no reason and they take a fee. Yep. Right. And so if you can cut them out, it's like you directly to your customer in a sense, right? But that's what like you directly to like a community member, right?
The distribution aspect of it is crazy, right? Yeah. Because it's not a physical product. but you can provide physical like benefits.
Yeah. Like Gary has a gift goat.
Yeah.
Right, and I forget how many, six or seven times a year he'll give you something physical and something digital. That's just crazy. For holding this, right?
Yeah.
So it's like he sent out like bottles of scotch, you know, like certain merch and stuff, and it's like these are very exclusive. It's on like 555 or you know whatever the supply is. Obviously, those ones are more expensive.
Yeah.
But it's like there is benefit associated with different projects, right?
Yeah. What are the other projects you're in?
I mean, so yeah, VeeFriends and VaynerSports Pass are like big ones, and then there's a lot of other ones, right? Like there's gaming ones. There's like media, like some people are trying to become media companies. So like Nifty, there's like Nifty Portal.
Yeah.
And this is where like even I go to like learn a lot. Where it's like Monday to Friday, 9 to 10:30, they do a Twitter space every day.
Nifty Portal.
Okay. And that's where they just talk about what's happening in the market. They bring up
what do they do?
We'll put his Twitter in the link down below.
Yeah.
Just so you can follow along.
Yeah, so it's just like they just cover, you know, the news, the media, and it's just it keeps you up to date with what's going on in the space. And like, you know, being a participant in the space, it helps because it's like, okay, you know, you can't know everything sometimes. So being at a place where they kind of filter that information in, and they talk about it. And of course they have YouTube too. So they have YouTube videos you can watch, Twitter Spaces. But just being there, like you can benefit from this. Like they could, you know, I mean, they could talk about a project, you could do more research into it and be like, oh, you think this has value or potential, and, you know, make a decision on that. And then if it goes up, for example, you can, you know, make a profit on that. So there's just like, that one is definitely like, if you're interested in the space, and what they're trying to do is just build a media brand, right?
Yeah.
So it's like almost like, one thing I'm thinking about a lot of is like, what are companies currently doing, like, you know, in real life in a sense, and like what are NFT companies trying to do like similarly, but also innovate differently to it, right?
Yeah.
So add like another layer on top of it.
So off camera, you actually mentioned that, you know, you started writing and stuff you started writing and stuff for like, you know, a lot of these different NFT projects, right? And you mentioned that you don't even write.
Yeah.
So what exactly are you writing about? What inspired you to write on about these NFTs, and what do you hope to achieve out of doing that?
So I mainly write weekly articles for VaynerSports Pass I was talking about, and it was literally, I just started it because I wanted to help other people in the community to understand what's going on a weekly basis, because like there's so many pings and like a lot of things that happen in a week. So it's like, you know, there's raffles, there's, you know, talks with like the founders or even athletes, and there's just other things that are happening, constantly innovating. So it's like, I know a lot of people, like I spend a lot of time in these Discords on Twitter.
How much time?
Too much. Like, you know, 12 hours a day at least, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, like it's a lot.
Shit.
Yeah, like it's definitely probably, you know, in a sense too much.
Are you able to like be part of the are you able to like kind of monitor while you're at work too, or like just
so there's like some aspect
flexibility?
There's some aspect that I can do that with.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like after, you know, finishing up work and then kind of doing it.
So you're in it.
Yeah, like I'm deep, right? Like, and it's
that's why he's on the podcast.
Yeah, that's why he's on the podcast. Yeah, makes sense.
No, but it's like, yeah, legit just started off because I want to help people.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, yo, I understand. Like, I just want to help other people kind of get into space or understand things differently, or understand maybe what I've taken from it. And at the same time, I can be right or wrong, but it's like, if I put it out there, people can comment, or people can be like, oh, this is cool what they're doing.
Because at the end of the day, people only fear things that they don't understand.
Yeah.
Right. Once they understand it, they're less likely to fear it and be like, "Oh, it's a scam." You know, one person told them a scam, it's over. It's a scam, right? Especially if that person like has a lot of money or whatever. Like, that doesn't mean anything, right? Because if they don't know anything, they didn't put 12 hours into it, they don't know anything about it, right?
Yeah. If somebody gives you a fake $5 bill, are you gonna never use money ever again because you got scammed that one time?
No, it's true, right? Like, so it's just like the whole thing is like putting information out there.
Yeah.
Right, to give value to people.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and that kind of ties in with my goal in the future is like, I just want to be in the space. I want to help people. You know, it's like I want to do something impactful in the space.
Do you feel like you're getting recognized in that space now in the parts where you're giving back?
I definitely, so 100%.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because like I've just been doing it for like, you know, it's like 5 weeks now.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
But it's like people like be like, oh, I really appreciate this, or they're like, yo, shout out to, you know, NFT Loverboy, which is like my Twitter account.
Yeah.
That's the best feeling.
Right? Right?
So when you've actually made it like an impact, you actually like help somebody out, like it's a good feeling.
Yo, it's crazy. Like and then like so like helping with the project and like, you know, even running community events, right? So I was talking the baseball game happening, so I'm like helping to organize some Toronto events here.
Yeah.
And then like in real life,
not in the metaverse, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, even like, you know, one person reached out, they won tickets, and they're like, oh, they can't make it anymore. They could easily sell it on StubHub, right? Like, I actually put out a post where I just did this to mostly to show people, where I'm like, I bought this NFT for like, for like whatever an amount.
Yeah.
I got 2 pairs of tickets to UFC New York last week. I sold it for whatever more.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the profit I could make, you know. But it's like, there's opportunities because people aren't looking here. And these are 6 seats too, right? Like, you could check stuff
especially
up.
sports fans. Holy, like, you know I'm just finding out about this today. You know what I mean? Like, you could have gone your whole life without knowing this.
Yeah. No, it's bro. We have AMAs weekly with athletes.
Yeah.
You know,
AMA is Ask Me Anything.
Ask Me Anything. Yeah. Right. So there was athletes, right? And like, you know, if you're a holder of the project, anybody can listen to it. But if you're a holder of the project, you can have an opportunity to ask a question, right? So you could be
that's crazy.
Like, it's, you know, and people might.
It's really bridging that gap.
It is
between, you know, like the traditional methods. You had to like go through one person or the other. Like, there's too many middlemen, right? This is actually bridging that gap by just believing in this one project, right?
And then even like athletes and like sports in general, like you hear a lot about, you know, like, yo, there's so many people that are like, you know, that you like as a sports fan, even if they're small people.
Yeah,
you know, might be people from like, you know, Dylan Brooks, Andrew Wiggins, just from Canada. You have respect for them, even though you don't, you know them more, even they're not like the best player, like top 10 player, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, NFTs allow, you believe in me in a sense, like you bought this NFT that I put out there. What can I do for you in a sense, right? Like talking to athletes for 15 minutes every week, for example. People could value that, right? Or just even talking with them in the Discord. Like, sometimes it can sound like weird, like, bro, like, why do you care so, like, why are you riding an athlete so much?
Yeah.
But like, as a sports fan, I feel like there's like a different, you know, experience you get from it, because
it adds, you get more behind the scenes transparency of like the actual industries and stuff too, right?
Yeah. Like, and it's like, bro, I've been to like Raptors games and stuff, and then you know, seeing some of the experiences that these guys get for holding NFT, being in the suite. They get signed, you know, sometimes they get signed memorabilia like baseball balls and shit, right? And it's like, even some people can go on the field for like when they're doing batting practice, right? And so it's
similar to what Top Shot did, right?
Top Shot was just like straight cards, right? Like
no. Like they were flying people out to like All-Star game and yeah. Like you get free seats.
But I think so. So yeah, I definitely haven't followed Top Shot that closely, but like I think that's only for a few people or certain events, right? And maybe they're doing more of it now, which would be
they probably started pushing it more now.
Yeah, so that'd be sick if they you know, focus on that, right? But like, you know, this project is legit. Like every week there's a raffle, and you could, you know, participate in it, right? So I just think this project is doing a lot, and there's a lot of value for people. And you know, the sports industry is like billions of dollars, so it's going to be disrupted, right? And I think if NFTs can do it, I think, you know, VaynerChuks are a good bet.
Yeah, and it has Vayner Media in the name, like, you know what I mean?
They have VaynerSports, like they have their own sports agency.
Yeah.
Wow. Right? So it's like that. So it came back to like helping people understand, and it's also like understanding this better, so that I can, you know, how could I help other projects or other people trying to do this right? Because we see a lot of times, like, you know, there's rug pulls, or there's projects that, you know, they just do something initially and they leave after, and they take, you know, millions of dollars. And it's like, we need legitimacy in the space. We want, you know, real people to do a lot of, like, we want people to provide value.
So you don't want just bots.
Yeah, like, you know, you got, like, at the same time, it's always a give and take relationship, where it's like, these companies come in, they need somebody to talk to learn off of, right? Like Adidas came in the space, they did it a certain way. Nike came in the space, they did it a certain way. Pepsi's in the space, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of legal, like you're saying earlier, a lot of legal.
So do you have like a relationship with VaynerSports at some point? Like, are you gonna have more access at some point, you think? Like, when,
like, what's your vision with them? Like, what's your vision with
so I don't have any expectations, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've been helping them out. Now,
and they've recognized you?
Yeah, they recognize me. Like, even now they do more formal newsletters where it's like they have a subscription list, and I'll send like, you know, we'll have the emails crafted and sent to them, right? But it's just about,
I'll put a link to
we'll put a link, 100%.
Yeah.
But it's just about like, I guess my thing is just like, I've been in this space for like a year, and I've seen people that have just helped and provided value, like they've kind of done something. So it's, for me, it was like either I can do nothing and like trade and like whatever, do other things and understand and learn, or I can just get my hands dirty, try something, figure out, you know, how this moves. Because at the end of the day, for me, it's all experience. I'm just like stacking experience. When I talk to people now, it's like, oh, I did this. My takeaways from this, I could help somebody else with that.
Yeah.
Right. So for me right now, it's like, and the sick thing is like, when you do things for free, you get the value out of it. People recognize you, and then, you know, that's how you kind of grow your community or like even following.
Yeah.
But it's just like the next thing, like you just build a reputation, like, oh, this person, they're not about the money. They just want to do things to help other people. So I can, you know, I can kind of like it's almost like, who do you respect and why do you respect them, right? Or who do you guys follow for information?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So you just build your reputation, and then, you know, I feel like something will happen in the future. And it's like, I've seen this play out. Like people that were in the space early on last year, you know, they've built, you know, crazy things, or they've helped out projects, and it's like they got that small recognition. It always starts small in the beginning.
It's like anything, yeah.
Right, just like anything, right? And then it's just like you keep doing your thing, and you like just recognize real.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, like even the podcast, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, people that give you love and shit, like it's not an easy thing to do, right? Like this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole operation.
It's a major operation here, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, like so as I want to help more people get in the space, like what do you guys think about NFTs, and like what, you know, your experience has been so far? I know Vint is a little deeper in it, but like,
I've been kind of like just like, you know, doing my own research online. I'm a YouTube learner, you know, University of YouTube. So yeah, I've been learning a lot. You trust me? I've been
bro, I'm telling you, YouTube is different. Like all the kids coming up are
sick, bro. It's sick, right? Because you could choose to either listen to it or you could actually watch it too. But no, I've been like really diving deeper into NFTs. Just, you know, learning about how they work, you know, like the whole community aspect of it. Like that's where I kind of like cause at the beginning I just thought it was like pictures, and I'm like, I don't get the hype behind it, right?
Why JPEG, right?
Yeah, like why are people paying so much for the picture? But I found that NFTs is mainly based off community. Community is like the biggest thing, and just you're kind of, if you're an investor in that NFT, you're kind of you're a shareholder essentially, right? And you own a part of the company. You're also investing in the company too, and like, you know, you're just kind of you're seeing it unfold, right? And like by being involved in it, you get to also contribute. It's like a startup. It's literally a startup, right? And you own a share of that startup. So I think that's like one of the coolest shit. And like we can also connect it to the metaverse too, like because I'm in real estate, like I obviously want to know what's happening in the fucking digital real estate scene too, right? So I've been learning about that too, because it's like obviously it's gonna have to play the part eventually.
When you can do your digital real estate license?
Yo, bro, honestly, whenever it's available, to be honest, right?
Yo, I feel like if there's like an NFT project with like around the car scene, I feel like you'd get into it.
Yeah, no, like I definitely want to get into some projects like down the road.
Because like I feel like now after listening to Josh talk, like I feel like NFTs is literally like,
it's a community.
Like, you're literally bridging, like you're buying a digital asset that kind of connects to the physical world, right? So you get access to a bunch of things in the physical world.
There's probably already NFTs and stuff that like you can probably like rent out cars and shit or whatever, or like track days or whatever, right? Yeah. If there isn't, I'll probably make one. But
exactly. You just started, you know.
But yeah, no, like I definitely see the whole hype behind the NFTs. Like it's I feel like because it's labeled as NFT and crypto, people get confused. They think it's like some sort of like actual thing, but I think it's more so of a membership. You know? Yeah. Like
a membership aspect is like
to a community.
It's like one of the easiest ways to like think about it, right? And it's like that already exists right now. But the crazy part is like, you know, a lot of memberships nowadays, you know, like to golf clubs or whatever the case is, you pay yearly, and say you wanted to leave, you're not getting your money back, right?
You don't own it. It's like it's like getting a gym membership.
Yeah,
you don't own the gym.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, you use the facilities.
Exactly, right? And like so it's crazy because in that example, right, like holding an NFT, you could buy a gym membership for a year, and then if you don't want to go anymore, you could say you can sell it to somebody else.
You can sell to somebody else. Yeah.
And then
that's actually a really sick idea.
It's a sick idea. I didn't think about that. I literally thought about it when you said it, right? Yeah. And like
it was our idea. Don't steal it.
The QR codes, you can link that to NFTs.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it just makes a lot of sense. And then you give, and the thing is, you can tell, okay, how many people, like in a sense, you can like forecast your business model and make all that stuff. But it's just like is access part, right? And like you could have this Discord that talks about, yo, let's meet up at whatever time. Let's hit the gym together. because it's always better to work out with somebody else. And now I know this. Sure, you're right. It depends. If you like
if you're in demon mode, you gotta go by yourself. Yeah.
For sure. But you could also, you know what I mean? You could do that. Like, I think like a big thing is like, even if you want to play pickup ball, you don't know what time the runs are happening, right?
There's endless. There's endless NFTs you can, and endless like communities you can build with this shit.
Yeah, right. And then it's like, like the NFT is like, it helps to gate people so that it's like common interest or common location or whatever the case is, right? Like,
and there's essentially this pride of ownership in there too, which is very important with like anything, right? Like versus like you just renting out a car. You renting a car, you're gonna fucking just drive over grass or whatever. But if you own a portion of the car, you're not gonna fuck around with the car.
Vested interest in it, right?
Exactly.
And I think there's like a misconception, like with NFTs and with everything in general. Like everyone's so focused on, it's an investment, or if the price is down, price is up. Same thing with like an NFT project. Same thing with the stock. Same thing with real estate. Like, the price is always going to fluctuate, but like you still own that house, you still own that business, you still own that community, project,
the project, you're still part of it.
The price, over time, if it's quality, it's going to go up over time in the long run. But like in the moment, like so much people are so fixated on the price that they'll get out, they'll be like, I don't want it, I'm scared, I'm gone.
Everyone's just trying to make a buck.
They're like, I don't want it, right? They don't get it. But like the people who actually profit from it long term are the people who have it for the right reasons.
You know, hold it and you're investing into it. Like what
look at the people in real estate who bought houses like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Exactly. They didn't buy it to make money.
They bought it just to fucking live it.
Right.
No, and that's the thing is like right now with the crash, and we don't know how long the market is going to be the market, but it's like, you know, things, if you bought them high, and that's the thing is when you buy something, you should believe in it. You should understand that money might not come.
Just for context, we're filming this on July 23rd, 2022. So it's probably going to come out like a few months after. I don't know what's going to happen in the market after, but
I get you. August. You invest in projects. You might have bought in high, but it's like if you actually care about the community, if you care about these benefits, if you want to see, you know, get certain things from it because you believe in it, you know, year after year, and the team is, you know, delivering, then that in that short time it doesn't matter, right? If for example you win tickets to a game, that might be more than the NFT you paid for, and like that experience might be worth it. Right,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like a lot of people won't get in because they're like, "Oh, it crashed. It's gonna crash again."
But
it's not about that, right?
It's not always like, obviously everybody wants to fucking make money. I get it, right? But it's not only about the money. You got to see the opportunities inside it, right? Like because he's literally fucking
and
writing
the networking aspect.
Yes, the networking aspect is huge. Networking is key. Networking is everything. Yeah, networking is life.
And you're legit, like you network so much in these Discords, right? Like it just chats, but at the same time it's like networking, because like sometimes networking events can be so awkward. It's like, bro, like we're here for this thing, but how do you branch out? How do you get to figure out that person more? You know what I mean?
Whereas in a Discord, like you're talking for hours and hours, days and days with some person, and eventually you meet them in person. Right?
And you just naturally become their friends, I'm assuming, right? Because you're like, you feel like you already know them.
You've been talking to them for so long, right? It's like,
is that what happened at like NFT NYC? Like when you met?
At VeeCon and NFT NYC, you just meet people you've been talking to, and it's like it's a different feeling, right? And it deepens the connections that you have with people, because like now you have that in real life, you know, meeting where you see their face, whatever the case is.
I think the NFT was a cool way for the kids to fucking start making friends again, because I feel like people just like I like, it's very common, bro. A lot of people don't have like people can't go up to somebody and talk to them anymore. It's just you know, but like I feel like through the NFTs and stuff, you talk, you're like, you know, it's kind of like talking with your eyes closed, because it's like
they're merging virtual and physical reality.
So together, they're bringing the people back in together, and I think I like that, and I think that's why Apple's gonna win, because they're doing the augmented reality versus the fully like
virtual reality.
The
and Apple's reality. Like consumer base is fucking like the whole world, right?
Exactly.
So they have everybody already.
Exactly.
Like.
Imagine the iPhone just spits out like augmented reality. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Even like Snapchat was trying to do some things, and they're always testing, but it's just like
Snapchat started it, right? Like it went from Snapchat to Pokemon Go, and then
Google. I think Pokemon Go started first, no?
No, Snapchat
has been a while.
Because the filters are augmented reality, right?
Yeah. Pokemon Go came. Google bought Niantic, which owns Pokemon Go, so Google owns that, and then Apple got in, and then Facebook, and
No, so it like
it's just the biggest companies in the world are gonna obviously control it, and everybody else is gonna follow, kind of thing, right?
And it's like at the same time they're also building for like in the future, like 10-20 years out. You know, because like Google has its main business, and they always add. But it's like they have different.
Google has like all these little tiny bets, and if one of them hits, they're going to just explode. Over. Like right now, they're already good just with Google search on its own. You know how much money they make from Google search on its own?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And YouTube search.
Yeah.
Right. So like, if one of these, like,
we're saying right now.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
On like 4 devices.
Yeah. And then same with Facebook, right? Like Facebook has like Instagram and WhatsApp and all that stuff, but like if the metaverse hits, like it's just they're gonna have so much power, right?
Yeah. No, it's
and influence.
And it's like, it'll be small at first, right? Like right now, I feel like even the whole space is small. Even metaverse, anything you look at is small.
Yeah.
But it's just like, as technology gets better, as it improves, people are gonna be like, oh shit, like now is a time when, I'm interested in this, right? Because people always like the final product sometimes too. They don't want to be in like the grassroots scenes, and that's kind of where like the NFT and crypto market is like. They're still trying to figure out. There's so many kinks. There's so many things going wrong. But it's like you also get the most upside. Like, you know what I mean? Like the upside and downside risk are very different compared to like other investment vehicles or just other like technology sectors.
Yeah, like I remember hearing Zuckerberg talk about like the Quest 2 is like it's like an early early iteration. Like it's like the old flip phones and like with the antenna and stuff. It's like that. And I feel like it's gonna end up being like glasses like you're wearing isn't it like Dragon Ball Z, or I feel like I talked about this in previous, like you, like all your social media notifications come up on your glasses and shit as you're walking and shit. Like that's what it's gonna be.
It'd be annoying as fuck. I turn that shit off ASAP.
Yeah, exactly.
But like they're gonna figure out a way to do it. In a way you want it to.
It's not just like too invasive. You know what I mean? Like it's just gonna be natural. It might even be like contact lenses or something. Something crazy. You know?
Yeah.
No, so you feel like a vibration in like your chest and shit, and it's like a.
I think people are gonna use that. Too wrong.
Oh yeah, right. They can like move where the vibration goes, right? Okay, I'll stop.
But yeah, like it's just that, and that's me. Like the bet I'm placing is like this shit's gonna be big. Let me get in now.
Yeah.
Let me figure this shit out.
Learn everything you can.
You're doing some crazy shit right now, because it's like, trust me, in like the future, everyone's gonna be like, oh, I wish I knew what Josh did. You know, like
I wish I DM Josh.
Yeah. I wish I watched the podcast.
Yeah. clip it back as Gary does it, right?
Exactly.
Like I always look at it like, if there's like something you want to learn about, like obviously like you could learn it yourself and put all those hours in, or if you know somebody who's already put in like 200 hours, like why don't you just ask them?
Just buy the man a spliff and be like, yo bro, can you teach me?
Right? It's the same thing as like having a mentor or whatever, right? Someone already has all that information. You just got to have access to them, right?
No, sorry, I'm gonna say. I'll just say one thing quick is like the way to get people in the space is like helping them. Like I've helped friends, set up their wallet, set up, buy NFTs, buy crypto. Yeah. Because I'm like, I want you guys to go through this experience.
Because it's super intimidating, right?
It is, yeah. Like it's so like I get it from like that perspective, but like reach out to like
can you help
friends,
set up some wallets?
Huh? Of course. I got you guys. But like, it's also just like, find friends. If you don't have friends, that's where I went to YouTube, because I'm like, at first I know people. Yeah. But like, don't, like the whole thing I'm trying to say is don't be afraid to ask, right? Like people want to help.
I feel like if you reach out and like, or if you hang out with other people that are in the NFT scene, whether it's like 1 or 2 people, if you just sit there and just like shut the fuck up and listen, like you'll start taking in what's actually happening. Because when you like, the news is like anything the news. I don't want to get into this. But
it's a whole other topic.
Yeah. But like if you want to actually learn, you got to actually sit around people that are actually in the NFT scene, so you actually understand what's happening, right? Because like you don't even know where to start. You can just be like, you can literally search what is NFT, and like you'll get like 100 different shit, because it's like that's like saying like saying like, oh, today I use the internet. It's like, okay, what did you do on the internet? There's so much shit you can do on the internet, right? Like NFT or like fucking crypto is like so like it's
vast.
It's vast, yeah. It's just like it's broad. Like like what are you doing inside of it? There's so many different communities and things that you can and niches that you can get into it, right? And you're probably already spending time on the internet in those niches and communities, besides you're not getting paid for it.
And if someone's searching what is NFT, they're gonna be like, oh my god, this is so much.
It's too much.
It's so deep. Like I don't know. It's too intimidating, and they're gonna be like, I can't do this.
And that's a common thing where it's a very overwhelming feeling, right?
It's like searching what is the internet.
Yeah. What is the internet?
But like that's what you said, and it circles back like earlier when you talk about networking and how important it is. It's literally like that's what in a sense networking is, where it's like you talk to people to figure things out. Yeah, you get into those rooms, and I'm sure being in, you know what I mean, like real estate and shit, like you could see just being in those rooms, listening to people talk, you just get so much information, right?
Bro, it's like you think you know something, you can watch it online on YouTube or whatever, but when you talk to somebody who's actually doing it, all these new ideas are sprouting and stuff, right? Because like everyone who's actually doing something in the world is like fucking like highly highly intense and focused on what they're doing. So like if you hear their perspective and you hear another person's perspective and like somebody else's perspective, like you can paint like a whole different picture. Because like we like to say on the podcast, yo, what you don't know, you don't even know, and you don't even know you don't even know it.
Facts.
Right. So like, yo, nobody like if it's someone's first time like hearing about NFTs and like crypto and shit, like on this episode, like, yo, now their mind's gonna like expand and shit, like, oh fuck, this actually exists. So you can actually like search specifically like for what we spoke about, right? And like that it's just like a rabbit hole, you know?
Yeah, and it's like it's good because like a lot of people listening or watching, like you know, they probably just read the headlines and stuff. They're probably like, oh, it's just like they just automatically pair, you know, NFTs with crypto,
Bitcoin.
So yeah, with Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin goes down, all of the crypto market goes down. Oh, NFT is the same thing as crypto. It's a scam too, right? Versus now they're like, oh, there's actually some sort of substance. It's like related to business. It's related to networking. Like it's technology, this, that, whatever. It's like, oh, okay, so it's not just like some pump and dump like art, like some doodle, you know what I mean, JPEG
even
thing,
if the project fails, if you're actually involved in the community, I feel like you will, even if you know like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mans from the community, like you got your money's worth. It's not like if the fucking project dies, doesn't mean that you lost those connections. You still have those connections because you're not an NFT, right?
Yeah, you know what? You know what got me to buy like an NFT? Like I bought it, like it wasn't even like long ago. It was like maybe like a couple months ago. Like I watched like Gary Vee say, like, he's like, if you're not in crypto at like in NFTs at all, like he's like, even go on the Solana blockchain, which is actually more affordable if you don't have that much money, and just buy one and just see what it's about, see the process of actually purchasing 100%. It. And I was just like, yo, this is crazy. Like you won't know unless you actually like get in it. And it didn't even cost. It cost me like what, like $50, $20, $30.
Bro, they have some free NFTs that you can go and buy, get.
Nah, it's not the same.
It's not the same, but like no, just so that you understand the process of getting it done. Yeah, and I'm lofting on that.
No, and honestly, like that's the biggest thing. Like even talking to people, like because I talked to a lot of people, even at VeeCon or NYC about VeeFriends, and you know a lot of them, and I know Vinty have a similar story where it's like, I listen to Gary Vee a lot, but I had no idea what he was talking about, and I didn't believe it until later, or I didn't, try to, or there was other barriers they had, right? So I think it just goes back to the point where it's like, yo, if you just try something, then it makes it easier. And that's why I like,
and then you have all these specific questions, and then you can go out and type these in or ask somebody like Josh, like the answers to these questions.
But then it also makes you ready for the next thing. So like I got into crypto early, and like a lot of that was just like trying to make money or trying to trade, and it didn't work out. But I learned how to buy coins, how to use a MetaMask wallet, how to kind of move it around. And so when I had to buy the NFT for Gary Vee, it was like a easier process for me.
Yeah. Versus for me, it was intimidating. I was in the same Discord as Josh, but I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't go and buy more Ethereum to buy it because I was like, whoa, it's a lot of money. I don't understand NFTs. Like, what gas fees? Oh shit, I don't want to spend like $300 on gas. I spend
so much on gas on my car. And shit.
Exactly, right? At that time, gas was cheap, but but yeah, it was super intimidating. Versus if you already got in earlier, it's just like, okay, bam.
Yo, and it also pays. I feel like it's going to make your life a lot easier and shit by like just learning about this shit right now. Because if you look at it from long-term perspective, like if you think about it, like if you have a parent or like a family member that's not so good on the internet, taking how much it's limiting their life, or taking how much they can expand and explore themselves because they haven't learned internet in their early ages. Now it's so deep into the rabbit hole that like they feel like they're so far out and that they won't even try. You don't want to be that old guy, because everyone who's listening to this, you're inevitably going to get older, right? So because what's happening right now, because what's happening right now in the scene, it's very early. It's easier to get into it. I would just start learning about it and just get like well acquainted with like the whole scene. Just like learn how to maneuver yourself, like like with the wallets and all that shit, and like get involved just so that you're not left behind and you don't feel like you have a huge like learning, like there's like a huge learning curve now, because now you're like 10 years in the past, right? You don't want to be that old guy. And this is for all the 20 and 30 year olds that are listening right now.
Yeah, like it's gonna happen, right? You kind of make fun of your parents when they didn't set up Facebook, and Facebook is now all grandmas and shit, but like But it's just technology always changes, right? And like you can benefit from it so much, right? Like, you know, even sending crypto, like at a point you can send crypto international, like you can send crypto anywhere. You know what I mean?
And so it's instant.
It's instant, yeah, right? And so it's like people, if you want to send money back home or internationally, you're going to go through like, you know, those like
2 other middlemen.
Yeah, right. And then you have to like, they have to verify if it comes through, and it's like there's a lot of steps involved. All these fees. Yeah, all these fees, right? And it's like with crypto, it's like you'll be able to, you can do that instantly at any time of the day, and there will become a point in the future where I think you'll need that. And so I was like, why not learn that now? And it's like, if you can do that now, how powerful is it where you could help people out? Because like for me, that's the biggest thing with crypto is like it can help so many people in other countries and, you know, like in different parts of the world out. And like, so if we can do that, and obviously right now we have a lot more, you know, infrastructure and like a lot more opportunities in them, but like we're only going to get, you know, better, and it's only going to improve. Right, it's only going to get better and only going to improve, right? And it's like you can help other countries up to like, you know, build up, and then it's just going to be, you know, it's just, I don't know. For me, I just rather kind of help other people and like help the world move forward, if I can, right?
So you guys should follow him on Twitter if you guys want to learn more about him. Yeah,
that's literally all NFT stuff happens on Twitter or Discord.
Yeah.
So I just want to be right where the information is. I mean, I'll retweet things, you know, like bring more awareness about talk, you know, tweet about certain things going on. But it's also just like one thing I learned being on Twitter and like when people are talking about it, it's like all these even content creators, big YouTubers, they get their information from somebody else or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. So if you, it's like the whole point isn't to like even follow me. It's like even if you look at people I retweet or follow, like they're saying a lot of, you know, interesting things, right? Or it's like curating your feed or your
network. You know, you're building your network. Yeah.
Right. But it's like curating your news to how you want it to be, right? Because like there's like the hardest thing is like to find what area you want to be in.
Yeah.
And that takes time. But like when you do, it's like if you double down in that space, anything you do with focus is going to be better than kind of a larger reach, right?
Yeah.
So like it just
you have to essentially make it your reality. Like follow him, follow the people that he follows, so that you know your day will, your feed, which is part of your day, will kind of be you know, kind of similar to what you're learning. Like, you know, like if you're following the same people that he's following, then like whatever he's learning, you're more than likely going to come across it as well.
Yeah, so I agree with that, but it's also like you have to curate, because like, so I follow a bunch of people because I just want like whatever, you know what I mean? Like that Twitter algorithm will do its thing.
Yeah.
Finding the people that you could also like, or you also vibe with, right? Because like like there's also a point where you can get overwhelmed with information. You follow like 5,000 people.
Analysis
it's like,
paralysis.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's like you gotta just, you know, make your feed and curate it how you want to. But it's just about, it just comes down to like, you know, like being curious and just like understanding what's going on, right? And so like the thing is, it's very active, right? Like you can't do this passively, which is like good and bad, right? But it's like the more time and effort you put into it, the more you get out of it.
And then I guess like it's like anything. If you spend more time in it and you start to like it, you're gonna want to spend more time with it, right?
Yeah.
So it's literally like a hobby / interest, and you get paid eventually, right?
Yeah, like that's the thing is like like, you know, the competition part for me is like what's later, because like I'm still like, you know, you're always learning, but it's just like you like, you know, you just try to survive and you try to figure out next day, and then it's like as long as you're adding value, you're helping other people, like, you know, in my mind things move in that direction. Seeing people on YouTube making content for years, it's you know, it's a testament to who they are and what their vision is, right? So it's just like, you know, I'd say it just comes down to be curious, see what you like, and then you kind of go down the rabbit hole, because like it's a hard thing to figure out what you like, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like that exploration.
There's so much shit these days, bro.
Yeah, right. And it's like the thing is, like a lot of things you try, they suck.
Yeah.
Because you don't know it.
Yeah. We had to try it to know if it sucks or not.
But like even if you like a lot of things you try one time, I feel like, you know, it can still be hard. Yeah. But like if you stick at it, you can make a fair assessment of it after, right? Just like trial and error. Like Gary says it the best. Like you got to just taste a bunch of shit, and like, you know, you'll find almost your area.
Yeah.
Because that was for me. Was the thing is like, even so now really focused on NFTs, and it's like this is what I'm passionate about. And like before this, I feel like I didn't, you know, it's like I didn't know what I was doing. It's kind of just like trying something or following a routine. But like, you know, me, it's like wanting to do these, like writing, for example. It's like, bro, I'm putting in work for these people, You know what I mean? And like I'm doing this because like I just care or like I want to.
Yeah.
You know,
that's good. That's a good place to be.
Not with anything back, right? And so like it's it's a good place to be. And like I wouldn't say I've experienced that. So that's a cool thing where it's like just exploration in any area gives you that ability or it just gives you like that like, you know, you just try. Yeah. You're on your own
if
path,
you have
right?
a day job, you should be trying for something on the side, and then eventually if all the stars line up, your side thing will become your main thing. That's that's just how it is. For
VeeCon, so it was like 3-4 day conference. And so it was in Minneapolis this year. Next year might be most likely be in a different venue. And like it was a lot of like, so you know, throughout the whole day there's like curated speakers and different talks, right? So it's like kind of different topics in NFTs, in crypto. You know, like artists were there, so they were talking about their story. You had even like Pharrell there, like creative directors. Like you had like a lot of really, you know, really interesting, diverse people there. Nemoz was there, like the comedian, bro. Sick dude.
We're trying to get him on the podcast, bro.
Oh, really?
We're in the works of that.
Okay, bad. But yeah, so it's like you kind of just you talk to, like, you got to hear from a lot of different people. And like these are really famous, like they're, you know, they have good careers, they've done, you know, sick shit in this space or just in general. And it's like, you know, you don't get that access.
I think Tom Bilyeu was there too.
Was there, right? So it was only like 7,000 people at the conference, bro. Gary rented out a full out NFL stadium. So bro, everybody was basically like near the front. A lot of it's empty. Like you have to walk up a bunch of stairs to get to the top. Right, and it's all empty seats near there. So it's like you know, and VeeCon next year is gonna be different. But it was just like you got to hear people talk if you wanted to do those talks. But you also got to interact with people in the community that you've been talking to. And there's different events that were happening, right? So like he had like a physical, like he had like a pop-up shop almost, where people could bring in memorabilia if they want to sell it, right? So there's a lot of sports cards or, you know, other cool things. When you get deeper in the NFT rabbit hole, like you can see how current processes are done and like the inefficiencies in them. And like how NFTs improve it, right?
That's sick.
And even for memorabilia, like I think we kind of briefly went over this for the Top Shot episode. Again, one more time, right? But bro, a card, you have the physical card in your hand, whatever. But if you have like a Top Shot moment, eventually when you're in the metaverse, you could probably literally like hover over like God and like be in the middle of like you could probably get dunked on by like fucking like LeBron and shit, right? In the metaverse, you know?
LeBron in the metaverse,
like hover over like God, like you look over at the thing happening like God, like at different angles and shit. Versus like be like, yo, look my baseball card, right?
The crazy part is like NFTs are also like it's a social thing too, where it's a flex. You know? And like you can just prove it, right? Like people that were like real versus fake, for example, like in with NFTs, it's so easy to see, you know, real and fake. And it comes down to like, you know, that transparent aspect of the blockchain, right? So like that could definitely one possibility if we go to the metaverse. We can do a lot of things too.
Trust me.
To close off, I'd say even if you think all this is a scam, like no, it's true, right? It's real shit, right? It's like even if you think it's a scam, it's like, is that your own opinion, right? Do your research, open up, you know, like just try to go down the YouTube rabbit hole or Twitter or, you know, there's a lot of things, Reddit. You can find, you know, whatever medium you like, and just experiment with that. Be curious and just, you know, kind of explore that further, because it'll take it, like then you can decide, right? And maybe you'll like NFTs and maybe you won't, but like at least you make the decision for yourself. That's really it. But yeah, like if you know, if you want, you know, definitely follow me on Twitter.
Before you go, what's your why?
What's my why?
For NFTs, for crypto space.
Oh, so seeing what the shit can actually do, and then knowing it can help so many people. So it's like, if it can help a lot of people, if you can help the masses, then like, you know, the more people you bring to the space, the larger that grows. And then it's just, I don't know, it just, there's an aspect of it where it's so fun, and everything you do, it has an impact on people. And like, if you can just, I just believe in that Gary Vee model, help people, and you know, expect nothing. Yeah, just make the world a better place, right?
All right, guys, that was a lot of information regarding the NFT scene and crypto scene. Definitely made me want to, you know, do some more research now on you know, I want to be more involved in the community. I feel like I haven't really been exploring. Take action, get involved in the community. I feel like I haven't really been exploring that much too much. I've kind of been trying to get involved in the community on a local basis, right? But yeah, bro, it definitely inspired me to look into more NFTs, buy some, get everything all set up and shit. I feel like I'm slacking.
Of course, and like that's the thing is like start somewhere.
Yeah.
Happy to help.
Yeah.
But yeah, even if you don't put money into it, just learn it.
Yeah.
Understand it. Try it. If you can try it out. There's other, options. Solana kind of helps with the, some of the fees.
You're sharing your experiences with owning these NFTs and like learning about it and being involved in the community. And I don't really hear much of that. Like in person. All my boys are fucking realtors, so unfortunately we only talk about home sales, right? If you guys once again want to reach out to him, we put his Twitter down below. You want us to share your Instagram as well, or are you not really on that? All right, never mind. Don't watch that. But I mean, Twitter. Follow him on Twitter. We're gonna put it down below. Make sure you guys like the video, share it with the people that you that think crypto's a scam, or just share it to your crypto mans and your crypto fee mans as well. And then what else? All right, subscribe to the podcast as well. Hit the bell notification. We drop a new video every second Thursday, and we drop a trailer of that video the Thursday before. All right, so pretty much every Thursday. Follow us on Instagram. We a lot of the main shit that he says, we're gonna be actually clipping them up into reels. So you can actually follow us on at WealthIsPossible on Instagram and TikTok. We have them all cut up into snippets, so you can rewatch a lot of the main points again, and then you can also share that as well. We're also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you guys don't want to see our faces anymore, you can listen to us in your car and. That's where we're at. But yeah, guys, we appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate all the friendly comments we get on our social media. So we have a bunch more episodes on the way. So make sure you guys know that
wealth is possible.
There we go. Exactly, guys. Take it easy.